video is going to be a little more raw. Um, I had to kind of decompress for about 5 minutes before I really wanted to attack how this game went for the USA today. Um, and it's disappointing. First, actually, you know what? I do want to talk about the women's team briefly, and I mean briefly in a good way. There really wasn't too much to talk about, just because they showed up and did their job, and that's very, very awesome that we got 4 titles and that we've set the bar in expectations for the rest of the world to achieve. And it really was an entertaining tournament once we finally got into the knockouts, and finally we see more dark horses emerging with Australia, Italy, the Netherlands making their first final. Even though I know they won, I think, the Europe tournament, but still, never really did too much in a World Cup. So it's good to see that, and I mean, it's good to see more teams come at the trophy and make an actual serious run for it. Um, so really, I mean, I'm very sincere when I say very well done. I know I made the video. I know it's very critical of the U.S. women's team, but they actually showed up and did their job right, and they definitely deserve praise where it's due, and it definitely was due today. Um, my only one complaint, and this has nothing to do with politics, believe me. Even though I will straight up throw out my bias and say I do not agree with Megan Rapinoe and how she carries about her business off the field. But on the field, I do question why she did win the Golden Boot. And I say that because I definitely wasn't the only one that had this thought. Half her goals came from. All right, did I say boot? I'm sorry, I meant Golden Ball. Of course, she wins the Golden Boot, penalty or not. Goals are goals, and I understand that. But the Golden Ball, I do question. Just simply because I think there was better teams, or I'm sorry, better players on the U.S. side. I think Morgan had a great tournament. A lot of her goals, I think all of her goals came from the run of play. I don't think she took a single penalty, if I'm correct. And Megan Rapinoe, half her goals came from the spot. And I'm not trying to knock it in a sense that, it's awesome that, we have a clinical penalty finisher. But does that make her the best player in the tournament? I would have to say no. I thought when her in the run of play, her movement was pretty weak for the most part. She delivered a couple of good balls throughout the tournament. Of course, actually had 2 goals in the run of play versus France, one of them being pretty decent. So I'm not saying like she didn't deserve to be on the team or anything like that when it comes to her ability, but I do think it's a fair question to ask, did she deserve the Golden Ball? But that was my only criticism of today. I think the Dutch really were taken back. I think the USA did an amazing job with controlling that game throughout. There was a couple of scares, but you're going to have that in any final or any big game. So they handled it well. Another criticism I will get to, as I think at the end I get you're tired, but there's a lot of chances in which they took too long with the ball, and I felt like they should have gone to the corner earlier. But that is very just nitpicky, of course. I hope nobody takes the criticism that I'm trying to bring, because overall I really am trying to bring good praise, and it's an amazing job by the women's team to get a 4th World Cup, and we have definitely set the bar. I hope other countries can catch up, not because I'm unpatriotic, but I do like to see a good variety in the tournament. I think that will just generate more interest in the game overall. So I do look forward to that. I do look forward to seeing which the more countries that step up for the next edition in 4 years. Now, on to the bad part of this video. It's the U.S. men's national team, and I want to really just be mad, but I really can't, because we really controlled the game. You know what I mean? Like I think we were the better team, and I know Mexico had more shots, and I know they had better possession, especially in the second half. I think our chances were way better. Altidore, I hate to say it, dude. This loss is on you. You have to finish that. There's no way in hell that a clinical striker misses that chance, and that chance puts you at least in the extra time. Um, I do question the manager and why he throws on a defender when you're down a goal. Why, I get that the sub who came on, I really should know. But the sub who came on does, like they said, play as a higher wing. He plays higher on the wing, but at the end of the day, he's still a defender. I think you could have thrown on Boyd and had Christian Pulisic, Boyd, and Zardes up there, and that would have been a way better threat than having a defender onto the field that late. So I have no idea why we threw on a defender, but that will be a question that will never be answered for us. I think we it's hard. It's hard to just rail on the U.S. men's team because, like I said, I think they created better chances. If I could say one thing, it's finish those chances, be more clinical in the final third. It just wasn't there. It just wasn't there tonight. And and another thing I have to say, and I think everybody knows by now, but Altidore, Bradley, you have to step aside. You've done amazing things for the program in the past, but it's time to go. I just do not see these two contributing a lot to the game in 2022 in Qatar when we go over there and play the next World Cup. I just do not see it. I put it on a 10% chance that both of those will be selected for the World Cup squad. And even if they do, they're not going to be pivotal players. They're probably going to be either rotating on as starters at best, and at worst, maybe coming on as a sub or being on the bench. And, so I don't see these players making a big impact for the U.S. team. I think what you could have done is thrown on a few extra young up-and-coming players and given them a chance to excel in a final, in a big cup game, in a tournament. But instead, we still play the dinosaurs, and that's just a mentality that has to change. And guys, we got to start beating Mexico in the Gold Cup. I think ESPN gave me a notification on the phone saying that they have beaten us now 5 out of the last 6 finals. That has to change. We have to get over the stigma of playing Mexico in a Gold Cup final. I don't know what it is, for the love of God, but it's still the same CONCACAF rival that we know and love, or should I say know and hate, and we've got to finish him. We know this team is nothing new. We have to get better at, getting rid of the boogeyman, and that just comes with being more clinical. Being more clinical, that's all I gotta say. I think you could go on and on and on and drag it out, but we come back to this. We would just come back to the same point, and that's finish your chances. And that's all it comes down to today, and I want that point to stick, so I'm going to end the video here. I hope you enjoyed it. This is the Traveling Poke. Had to get that out. Had to get something off my chest because that game was frustrating. I'll see y'all later.